Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Dia Beltran. Today I have a very special guest, probably someone you could call an OG to the YouTube world and community. Arielle Scarcella, how are you?
Fab, how are you?
I'm really good. I really appreciate you giving me your time. I know I'm a nobody, and but we do have a mutual friend, Kitty, or Hoggyfur,
Everybody's
depending.
a somebody. Everybody has the potential to change the world. Even if it's a
Oh,
person in the world, everybody has the potential to do that. So
I love that. That's fantastic.
it's the
Well,
truth. It's not me trying
well,
to make
it
you
is
feel
true.
better. It's the truth. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to make you feel better too, but
Well, you're a nice lady. So tell us your original intentions for your YouTube channel. I've known about you for many years, but if I'm being completely honest, your content was not probably my demographic. I am very much a prude, and your channel is not for the prudish.
which is really funny because in real life, I'm very much a prude. Well, that's not
Oh,
like
okay.
not a prude in real life. I'm just not as sexually active as people would assume because I'm
Oh,
very picky. It's like it's completely by choice. Like I can get any
sure.
girl that I want. No, I'm kidding. I can't. But like I'm sure I can get girls if I wanted to. I just choose not to. But
Yeah.
but yeah, people assume that I'm like a player or something, and I'm like, girl, no. Like I literally go play paddleball. I come home, I work, I eat, and I sleep. That's it. Like
They think you're chained from the L word.
they think they probably do. I don't. Oh, so you got some lesbian culture in you, girl. You know.
Oh, I know.
You
I
got
know things.
some.
I'm not as sheltered and naive as people like to claim that I am, but I have my moments, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
No, I mean, I don't know. But yeah, my content, I started making content in 2009.
A long time.
And right away I started talking about lesbian topics, but nothing really sexual until I would say till 2 years in. It was just mainly like comedy, silly skits and stuff like that, because that was like old school YouTube.
Yeah, so
And then I
how it's
realized that, yeah, nobody does skits anymore. And now skits are on TikTok. Um, and yeah, I realized that there was a niche and a need for lesbian sex education, because they still to this day don't really teach LGBT sex ed in schools. And people, it was needed. I pretty much knew all there was to know. I mean, I'm still learning, so I guess I didn't know everything, but I knew a lot. And if I didn't know, I would have somebody else on. Like I've had videos with a friend of mine who is a lesbian and a gynecologist, which is cool.
oh, okay.
Yeah, so she sees pussy all day, but except
Good for
recently,
her.
probably because COVID. I don't know, but yeah, and then recently, over the last 5 years, so halfway into my career, I started changing things up a bit and did more cultural type videos.
It's worked for you.
Um, yeah, and over the last 2 years, I got very involved in the trans rights debates. And I don't say trans rights debates meaning like I don't think trans people should have rights, but I'm a feminist at heart, a second wave feminist, not like these new feminists that are
Don't
out
worry.
there.
I've had a feeling, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I have to like make that known, right? Which is sad.
Because I'm an
Um,
anti-feminist. So, I'm with you on the being pro woman. I say I'm a pro woman anti-feminist
yeah,
because
pro woman, right? No, pro woman. Feminist has
kind
such a
of
bad
being,
connotation.
yeah. So being
Yeah.
my feminist, I think is being pro woman. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, pro woman. I mean, you could call it whatever you want, but it's the same. It's the same idea. It's just got a bad connotation. And yeah, I've been up in arms with some of the trans rights, the trans activism community. I can't even say trans people, because a lot of the times it's not even the trans people. Most trans people get it. It's all these other letters of the LGBT community,
Or straight
and
lefties
a lot
doing.
of and a lot of straight people thinking they're doing good on their part, and they're just messing they're just messing with the wrong people, and the rate of LGBT acceptance has gone down in the past 2 years. So I knew it was time to start really just completely saying exactly what I felt, and I started doing that, and I gained a different audience, but a non-hateful one. Like I've never had a problem with the new audience that I've managed to find.
You're welcome. I subscribed to
It's
you in the
true.
last 2 years as well.
In the last
Yeah.
2 years, yeah.
Yeah, I have. I suppose something that you said that I found unusual, not unusual for you, but
Mm-hmm.
something I would find unusual for you, it's normal, is that you said that there was a need for LGBT sex education, I would argue that none of that should be taught in schools. I suppose that's the Christian coming out in me, but I would argue that that's only something that you should be taught if you are that. Like, I wasn't even taught sex education. My mother pulled me out of all that stuff. But anyway, my point is that school should be for school. It should be for history, English, math. They shouldn't be teaching things about transgenderism, homosexuality, or maybe even straight sex. I don't know. I haven't thought about that one. I think that is stuff that is between a parent and a child. Do you have a comment on that?
I would just argue that sex is science, and science is something that's taught in schools. You know, it's not like we're teaching kink. Like that's a whole different. That's a different thing. I'm not talking about kink. I'm talking about.
That's true.
Right. I'm talking about like STDs and what sex is, and you know,
which I was
and consent and right. There's different. It's not like we're like, okay, like what size dildo do you want today? Like that's not what we're talking. I don't think that should be taught in schools. But you have to teach health, because kids are going to do, you know, they're going to go out there and do this shit. Sorry, they're going to go out there and do this stuff anyway.
I've said the word.
Okay, hold on. But yeah, they're going to go out there and do this stuff anyway. And I think, you know, the best that I can do is put them out there with a little safety hat on, you know?
No, I understand that. One of your videos that keeps coming up as a recommendation that keeps pissing me off is you looking at a trans vagina. It just keeps popping up there. Yeah. Doesn't leave me alone. I haven't watched it yet though.
I've seen two. Both of them were decent.
Okay, so they look relatively normal.
One of them didn't, like, do you want me to go in detail?
Yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah, one of them.
Teach the prude.
Yeah. One of them had like more outer labia, or inner labia rather. And the other one didn't have any. So the one that didn't have any, to me, didn't look as not as natural, didn't look as typical.
Genuine. Oh, okay.
Like as typical, like because it still looked real, but most women's vaginas have lips, like, and that's what the other one looked like. But they have to work with what you have. So if you don't have a lot of, you know, I don't know, dick skin or whatever they use, no, it's like, it's true, it's what it is. It's penis skin, I guess. Yeah. I'm not even being perverted, or like I'm not. Yeah, like literally, that's what they use. I know, dick skin. But like if they, whatever they have, they use it. And maybe maybe the other person didn't have as much to work with. I don't know. Or maybe they just did a different procedure, because there's different procedures that they do now. And now there's like a brand new one using fish or something. I don't know, which is crazy. I don't know. I'm telling you. And there's also one that's, I think, using stuff from the inside of your mouth, I believe.
Oh, I have no
idea. That, which makes sense, because it makes itself moist, right? It's like, I hate that word, but it wets itself. It's like one of the only parts of your body that does that. So, but there's a whole bunch of new.
That makes sense. Well, it was part of the way I became familiar with you was when I started watching atheist content, because as a Christian, I want to know what atheists are saying, so that if I want to. Jacqueline. So I came to know you through her initially. And it was really funny, because it wasn't too long ago where you guys did a video together, and you guys got in trouble because you were talking about different gender expressions, as opposed to that there is only two sexes, but different gender expressions. And she ended up not apologizing, whereas you ended up apologizing. I remember that. And I'm like, oh no, she cucked. What happened?
Well,
you seem to have, like, you rebelled against it altogether, and you're like, nah, no more apologizing. This stuff is this, and this stuff is this.
Yes. Yeah. I think I apologized for saying that there weren't more than two genders, because at the time, what I read in certain parts of the world makes sense. Like, they have different ideas of what type of people should be a specific type of person in society. In that way, there's multiple genders, but there's not multiple genders as far as like sexes, you know, like there's male, female, there's intersex, and intersex isn't a third sex, you know?
No, it's not.
And that's what people try to argue. So I think I actually took that video down.
Oh, you might have. I haven't seen it.
I took it down because I believe differently than what I believed 3 or 4 years ago, whatever that was.
Which happens.
Yeah, of course. Like, I change my mind all the time. People are like, you said this. I'm like, I said that last week. It doesn't mean I believe it this week. Like, sometimes I change. Like, and it just makes them want to like watch my content every week, which is good. Job security. But it's the truth. Like new information comes out, I'm going to change my opinion, you know. Years ago, people thought that you know, that being trans and they thought gay people was a mental illness, you know. And I obviously argue very much arguing against that.
What's an attraction? Yeah.
It's just, yeah, because it doesn't, you know, doesn't hurt anybody, including yourself. Whereas being trans can create, you know, a lot of.
Well, you are hurting yourself. I actually.
Yeah, it can create a lot of pain, but I still don't. I don't think the DM. What is it? The DM5, whatever it is. Or the APA. Yeah, I don't think the APA,
American Psychiatric Association. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they consider it a mental illness anymore. What I think they say is, because it's not.
What are you talking about? Transgenderism.
Transgenderism. What they say. Yeah, I think they say it's two parts of the body that are working correctly, but they're not working together. So I think that's convenient. It's a good way of putting it. I mean, it's kind of like
it works.
It makes sense, yeah. Like right brain, wrong body, or whatever the hell. Who the hell knows what really happens? Like I don't know. I don't know what that feeling is like. I do know. Yeah, I do know what it feels like to know that you're different your whole life.
Well, I'm a Christian and I'm heterosexual, but I've been an outcast my whole life.
How so?
How so? Because I've always been around mean people, I suppose. I think it's because my personality is so random. Like, I'm like a walking contradiction, and people find out I had a transgendered person on my channel, and I got in trouble by those.
Who?
Her name is Dana Pham. She's relatively.
Dana. Yeah, I love Dana.
You know who that is?
Yeah, she's in Sydney.
Yeah, how the hell do you know her?
She's a lesbian. She was on the panel with me when I went there.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Well, she's my friend, and she's on my channel. Shit. But yeah, so Dana, I had her on my channel with me, and then I got the live chats were like, oh, Dia's no longer a Christian. This is no longer a Christian channel, because you can't interview people. You can't interview people to get a perspective. But yeah, so that in itself really bothers me, because I like talking to people. I want to talk to lesbians. I want to talk to Christians. I want to talk to Antifa. I want to talk to scientists. I want to talk to anti-vaxxers. I want to talk to athletes. I just want to talk to people. That's the point of interviewing people.
Yeah, no, it's good. I think there's too many people on every side of every argument that doesn't want to hear the other side. Like I literally just lost. I can't even say I lost, but an ex-friend of like 7 years. Yeah. He just unfollowed me, blocked me, started talking all this shit on Twitter yesterday or 2 days ago. Because I said that I don't think that trans women who present as men, because there are people that look like, that look completely male, that walk around as men, that are trans women, meaning that means to me that they have gender dysphoria, right? And they feel internally.
It's just in here, but they're not doing anything for it.
Yeah. I don't think they belong in women's spaces. Sorry, like I don't. Give up your male privilege.
You were unfollowed based on that.
I think he probably,
among other things.
There's a number of things that he disagreed with me on, and I remember distinctly whenever he would have a problem with something, I would direct message him, send him a bunch of links, or tell him my side, and he would agree with me and still say things like, well, can't you just be nice though?
But you're not coming off as a bitch to me. You're not coming off as nasty.
I'm not. I'm just I'm a very outspoken woman, and people don't like that. And it's a gay, he's gay too. He's a gay guy, and I think a lot of gay men can't handle. They think that they like powerful women because they'll stand them when they're celebrities. But a lot of gay men don't like lesbians for the same reason, because we're very opinionated. Yeah, it's true.
Well, lesbians don't exist, according to Milo Yiannopoulos.
Did he say that? He's I don't know if he meant that. I think he's an idiot.
I'm pretty sure he meant it.
Really?
Because apparently there's a high stat that a lot of women, you're a gold star gay, right? You've never been with a man. Yeah. But there's a high number of women who end up married to men after, say, 5-6 years of being a lesbian. So I think it comes based off of that particular stat or that particular anecdote that people often hear.
I mean, if it's a stat, if it's a true thing, it's a true thing, but that doesn't mean we don't exist at all. I do agree with him. If he was trying to say that most women are bi, I agree with that.
That's what he was trying to say.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's true. Lesbians know that. That's why we're afraid to date bi girls.
Yeah. No,
They're
that's
like, oh my God, what if they go? Yeah, yeah, we know.
I recently saw on your channel that you posted yourself when you were in Australia. You were with Stephen Crowder. And what I loved about that interview was that you didn't even bat an eyelid. It's very rare to be able to talk to a lesbian person, a gay person, and say, I'm not really for, gay marriage. And, like, you were just like, yeah, that's literally what you did. You went, yeah, like, that's what you said.
Well, it depends on the idea behind it.
Oh, no, my idea is the same as his. I believe exactly what he believes on that.
If it's a Christian thing, if you mean marriage, a lot of misinterpretation comes from using a lot of hatred is really misinterpretation, using different words to mean the same thing, or using the same word to mean different things. If you're saying that marriage is a church thing, then that makes sense to me.
Yes,
and then certain churches will allow it, but I do believe separation of church and state. I also believe that that's a typical easy American thing. Like most Americans believe that.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and I think Australia too. Australia is kind of like America in some ways.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I might get shit from you for saying that, but because they're like, oh, Australia's not like America. They probably hate us. They probably can't stand us. We're obnoxious, but yeah, I think what he said makes sense. Like, I would not. I think most gay people don't want to get married in a church anyway. So it's like, why would I even bother trying to fight for? Like, I've never felt comfortable in a church,
And because you're Italian, is your family initially Catholic?
Yes. Yeah.
But you are non-religious, or do you identify as atheist, or do you say non-religious?
I'm spiritual.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I believe in a higher power. I just don't know what it is. Yeah.
Well, there's a Bible, and it's all there for you. No, just kidding.
I've read the Bible. Yeah, I took a class in college. I read the New Testament. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's nice.
I did. Yeah.
Jesus is a cool guy.
I think that Jesus, if he was a real person, he's one of the most woke, like actually woke people that will ever grace the earth. Just based on what he believed and how he was. If everything that's written about him was true, we'll say that.
Yeah.
But when people use it to hate, then I have an issue with it. Obviously.
Yeah.
I think any good Christian, any true Christian would have the same issue.
Well, yeah. As I was telling you off camera, and I hope he doesn't mind me mentioning this, but I was in a debate on the platform known as Telegram, and in the debate, have you heard of Telegram?
No, I have no idea. Anyway, is it a Catholic thing or something?
No. Telegram is like WhatsApp mixed with Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's sort of like WhatsApp. You have your own phone number and stuff, but you have your own channel as well on it. So there's public elements. And in this chat group, I was saying God doesn't want gay people dead. Where'd you get that from? From the Old Testament. I'm like, well, sure, but that's like the Old Testament. That's the Levitical law. Jesus came on the earth, died on the cross for our sins, and now everyone, can go to heaven. Hey, hooray! Lesbians, anyone can go to heaven. Drunkards, thieves, liars. I've lied before. I'm a liar. Whatever. Like everyone can now go to heaven. And he's like, no, that's not true. And it made me really, really, really mad. And I tried to look through the Bible to disprove what he was saying, but he's very legalistic. So he takes it as blatant and as obvious as you can get it. But the Bible, in my opinion, while it is blatant and obvious in certain things, it isn't in other ways. And so I remember just getting really, really frustrated. I'm like, God doesn't hate gays. Like, I don't know where that comes from. And it's with pastors like someone named Pastor Dan or something Anderson or something like that preach that type of hatred. And I believe personally that it really makes Christians look bad because I don't subscribe to that. Now I don't.
I was gonna say even if it did say that in the Bible, honestly, like I think
don't believe it does.
It wouldn't bother me. It wouldn't bother me at this point in my life. And
because you're mature.
No, it's not about. I don't know if it's about being mature, but it's about finding. It's about finding the love that you have for yourself and not needing a book or people or anything to tell you that you're not worthy of life and love, And that's kind of why I lean more towards spirituality, because spirituality says,
it's personal.
Yeah, it's like your place in within yourself and your place in the universe, and it has nothing to do with a book.
No, I understand. I understand.
Yeah.
I believe that as human beings we need a manual. I think we
I think
can't
it's helpful for some people, for sure. Yeah,
well,
and
yeah.
I mean, I have books that I've read about spirituality. Isn't that the same thing? I'm not shaming books. Like everybody
No,
has to.
no,
You
you're not.
need
You're
something
fine.
to read to help. Yeah.
No, you're perfectly fine. No, so yeah, so but I was just going to say that it's very good. It's very refreshing when someone says, "Look, I'm a Christian and I don't necessarily agree with the homosexual lifestyle, but I love gay people." And someone doesn't get mad at that. We're living in a day and age where saying that, like when we had the plebiscite, I don't know if you were aware of that, but Australia recently had the plebiscite, meaning to vote for gay marriage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we
It
call
was
it the
2015,
plebiscite.
I think, right? 2015. Yeah.
Yeah, 15, 16, yeah. And anyone, the whole country was really reactive. There was the yes campaign, and it was being aired in the daytime and in the nighttime. But when the no campaign came out, and of a daughter who was talking about what it was like having gay parents, it was like, I'm like, that's not fair. I said it may be hateful. I don't believe it is. She's coming at it from a place of experience. But how dare the TV screens also not portray that perspective? She wasn't even being hateful. She was saying, I love my parents, I love my two dads, but this and this is what I was personally lacking from her particular personal experience. And so when anyone said, I think I'm voting no, or I think I'm not even going to vote, you would lose friends. It's really silly. Whereas I don't feel like if I feel like the Milo Yiannopoulos is like, you don't mind people having an objection unless you know the backstory, which is what you said before. If there's an interesting backstory to it, and it's not coming from a place of hate.
Right.
But we're not there. We're not there in society anymore. We used to, maybe even 20 years ago, 15 years ago, when I was just a teenager, that there was more rationality. Well, what are your thoughts on how far we've come on that in a bad way?
I think it's just gone backwards at this point. I'm curious though, when you say people that don't agree with homosexuality, what does that mean to you? Like, what does that statement?
Me personally?
Yeah. What does that mean? That you don't agree with it?
Oh, just more that I don't understand it, and like I'm not going to question God, but that doesn't mean I can't be friendly and kind and love people who happen to be gay. Like does that make sense? That's the only way I can describe it.
Yeah, I would personally, like, if it's this whole thing is about communication. So for me, what I would say is I don't understand gayness. I don't understand being gay, and I would agree with you. I don't understand being straight. It's simple, so I get it. No, I get it. Yeah. I don't think you could understand it. It's not something you're experiencing. But when people say I don't agree with that, I'm like, what does that mean? Like, it's just strange.
Well, for me, this is the part
strange wording. It's strange wording. That's all I'm saying.
No, I know. I suppose it's because the best way for me to describe it to someone like yourself who happens to be a lesbian, but I don't know whether you understand the whole God factor. If God says it's a sin to do something, then it's a sin. I'm not going to question him on it. So because he's technically against it, as he is drunk, atheism, as he is with all those other things, even gluttony, even eating too much is a sin. Because he's against it, then I'm not going to question him on it, even though I do question things all the time. Like, I'm a curious person, I ask questions, but I'm not going to challenge him on it, I should say. So when I say that I'm against it, I don't mean I'm against it that I want you dead or that I hate you. I just like, oh, that's what God thinks. Okay, but I'm still going to talk to someone and be friends. Does that make sense? That's literally the angle I'm coming from.
I think I understand where you're coming from. Yeah, my argument for that would be that it's been scientifically proven that it's not a choice, and morally, there's nothing wrong with it, right? As long as it's consenting adults. So for me,
I can get on it from a libertarian perspective on that.
Yeah. Like there's nothing, if you don't want to participate in it, then then don't. Like it's that simple. Like my dad used to say, "Why would God create you this way? It's just to damn you." And I agree with that full-heartedly.
Your dad loves you.
Yeah, like I agree with that. If this is something that I cannot choose, then why would God make me that way? Just tell me to not do, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's been proven.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I could throw a whole bunch more at you on a religious level, but I don't want to debate you. But
Yeah,
I
no,
totally,
this is just where I come from. I don't care if you
no,
debate me. This is
that's
just
great.
that's it. Like to me, it's like saying that God
It's good
doesn't
to
like
have that understanding.
Asian people, but it's like I can't help to be Asian. Like I don't know what you're gonna tell you. Like why would he hate me? He made me this way in his image, but he hates me. It doesn't make any sense.
No,
You
he
know?
doesn't hate you. He doesn't hate you for
But you
sure.
know what I'm saying? I don't care if he does. Like whatever. I'm sure
He
gay,
doesn't.
whatever. God doesn't hate me. We are all, to me, we're all God. We all have God. We all have a much deeper presence inside of us. That's what I believe, and I think we're here to heal, and I think we're here to help.
I think we're here to heal. I think we're here to help. I think that's definitely an element I can agree with you on. My only point, the only reason I raised that was because I was actually trying to compliment you by saying that I think it's good that you can hear people out and not damn them or condemn them for having a slight different worldview. That was
No, I
my
think people. I think that's That's kind of the whole point. If sorry, I had heard it was loud. The whole point of me being an activist is to help change people's perspectives, right? Like the actual definition of activism, right? Or advocate,
which is lost. Yeah.
which has been lost now, and now people just scream at everybody. And I remember Blair White, who's a friend of mine. People were hating on her because she's friends with the right and all these things, and it's like I remember she said in one of her videos, she was like, if you guys actually wanted change, you'd be on my you'd be trying to get on my good side, because I have the ear of the enemy right now, of the enemy, right? And it's true. It's like, why are you hating? It's because most of these people don't want change. They want to stay victims. They enjoy sitting at home complaining and blaming the world for all of their problems. And some of their problems might be, societal or whatever, but not all of them.
No,
and there comes a point, yeah, like I remember years ago, when I was seeing one of my doctors, I was sitting in the waiting room and a priest came in, and I was like automatically I get a little bit like, because I'm like very outwardly, super gay. And I don't hide myself for anybody. I'm not like annoying about, well, I guess I could be in some people's eyes, probably annoying about it.
Do you have hair under your armpits?
No, I don't know. I'm not that kind of guy. I like being fully shaven. I like that. But
good to know.
I'm not that kind of lesbian, but I do know some people that are like that. Good for them, I guess, but it's not.
No.
Yeah, it doesn't turn me on. I'm not crazy about that. But I remember the priest and I started talking about something about gay, whatever the hell it was. It came up somehow. Who the hell knows? And I think I asked him like what he believed in regards to like mental health and just in general, like being healthy and taking care of yourself with the doctor's office. And he said, I believe that God helps them. He said, I believe that God helps those who help themselves. And I thought that was really powerful.
I've heard that many times before. That's a common thing.
It's a beautiful quote. It's a beautiful quote, yeah. Because it's like don't just stand there and look, God help me, and it's like, no, do something. Like you need to
stay in the house, but keep praying. Yeah,
like just pray and something. Like no, you have to. It's like pray. Yeah, okay, put out good vibes, whatever the hell. That's all real. I think it's real because I believe in energy. But you have to like put shit into action. Like you can't just sit around and expect things to fall into your lap. Like that does. I mean, you're lucky, but it's rare. It's not gonna happen,
No, absolutely true. I like your new content too. I like how you brought in my friend Kitty, and you guys compared, doing all the right type of judging. I think on these trans or cross-dressing children. I think do you like sort of being, rather than a teacher, which because your stuff was more informative and about like how to please a woman, do you like doing this sort of commentary?
It's like a critique of culture, I think, is what it is.
Yeah, but I feel like you come to the right analysis. Like it's the right moral perspective, I find.
I think I'm old enough now that I have a good idea of what should be accepted morally, at least in by today's standards. Because morality, that's really all that it is. It's social norms. But I think it just needs to be said. Like there's certain gay guys that will talk about it. There's Blair, there's trans women, but there was no lesbian that was prominent enough that was doing it. So I happen to be the third or fourth leg of the chair, and or the table or whatever you want to call it. It's like, come on, we need like, we had with Dave Rubin, and we have I guess Milo, but not really. We
Not
have Dave,
anymore.
and yeah, we had a few people that were walking away, and the walk away movement and stuff. And we had Blair, and it's like, okay, we need a bisexual and a lesbian. And I was like, all right, I'm the lesbian. We just need a bi girl, a bi guy, or something. A bi guy would be better.
Yeah, probably work. What about your political spectrum? So you're technically still a lefty. I saw the other video you did where you did that little test, and you
Yeah, I
still
did
do
the test.
things.
I got
Yeah.
I think I got like left leaning center, or center leaning left, or whatever the hell it was. Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. I mean, socially I'm pretty liberal.
Yeah.
Pretty
We
liberal.
I reckon. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but like I have my boundaries just like anybody else. Like I don't really like seeing gay men like with their asses hanging out at Pride. Like, and not because I'm a lesbian. I just don't think that's okay. Like,
It's not attractive,
like
and it's not
no,
going
like
to make anyone want to be an activist on your behalf.
it's like not like, yeah, it's just like, come on. And like sex is okay, but like when it gets to that territory, I don't know. I don't know. Everybody has different boundaries, you know. I think that gay men usually take it too far because they're gay and because they're men. Like this is just how gay men are. Lesbians tend to lead the parade, and then after that, like they're not seen anymore, which says a lot for our community. Yeah, that's just how lesbians are. They show up in the beginning, and then they're like, let's go home. I'm tired. Let's go back home. Just
That's
like the parade. It's literally how we are in real life. Is how we are in the parade. Yeah.
And are you in a relationship at the moment?
No.
Have you, in the 10 years you've had your YouTube career, had serious relationships that you thought were going to amount in a life partner, and it's just not like that? Don't answer if you don't want to. We can move right on.
There's no question that's off out of bounds. It's just fucking funny. I'm sorry.
Oh,
It's just
sorry.
funny.
No,
I think everybody that I dated at one point, I thought it would go somewhere, and then like the 3-month mark hit, and I was like, yo, these girls are nuts, you know, in one way or another. And it's my fault because I chose them, right? Like I made a habit of choosing bad partners. What'd you say?
I hear you there, sister.
Oh yeah, yeah. And you know, I had to take a step back from dating for 2-3 years back in 2011, 2012, 2013, and then I got into another bad relationship, so I took another break. And then the people after that weren't as bad. It just didn't work out.
Do you want marriage, or do you not?
Yeah, for sure.
You're a lesbian who doesn't want. Okay, so you're a lesbian who wants marriage, or at least that.
Yeah, a partner. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think most of us do.
Do you want to be a mother?
No.
No.
And I couldn't be anyway. Physically, I couldn't be. Yeah, I have too many issues with my ovaries. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay.
No, it's okay. It's whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is. That part of my body's not working. I'm not going to force it to. You know.
That's fair enough. That's understandable. So, do you consider yourself now a member of the right? Are you part of? Have you left the left?
Like culturally, I think so.
Yeah,
I think
because you feel more
culturally
accepted by us.
For sure. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Like it just, yeah, it's like a new coming out in a way, which is everybody's. I've never had any problems with anybody on that side. Honestly, somebody said it really, really well. Somebody said something the other day on Twitter. They said, you know, if you do anything, you know, out of the, you know, if you have wrong speak or wrong think on the left, they crucify you. Whereas anybody on the right accepts everybody just for not associating with the left. Like they're just like, not because they're the left, but because they know how the left thinks with the hive mind.
Extremely sinister. Yeah,
that's what it is. So they're like, we like you not because your political beliefs, but because you don't put up with the bullshit of what other people telling you how to think. That's what the right has become, I think, at least in my perspective. Yeah, from my perspective.
Overall, I find that even though I've started to say I'm not part of the left, I'm not part of the right, I'm just not on the spectrum. But even I know that technically speaking, I do lean right. And I do believe that a lot of people, particularly the minority on the right, are like, oh, the right's becoming full of trannies and this and that and all these horrible things that they say. But the thing is, the more allies you have, then the more you can reject the idiocy of late-term abortion, the more you can reject the idiocy of overly censored language, just to name a few. And you are technically pro-choice still. You're not pro-life.
I'm pro-choice, but I mean, again, I have a
boundary.
Yeah.
So because last night I actually interviewed Melissa Oden on my channel live, and Melissa Oden is an abortion survivor. Like she was meant to die, and when you do a saline abortion, the baby is there for 3 days burning alive until it's dead. She was there for 5 days and still didn't die, and now she can tell her tale. But that was at 9 months, which obviously I would assume you're against. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not 9 months.
Yeah, how disgusting is. Oh no, I'm sorry. She said 31 weeks, so that would be 6.5 months.
That's a lot. That's like, yeah. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I think my line is drawn when the baby can survive on its own. You know what I mean? Like
that's somewhere I think in the 4 month range.
4 or 5 months. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I feel like, geez, because then, yeah, I don't know that to me that would be.
I cried on camera. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, I feel it's sad, but I mean, then again, I believe in reincarnation, but that doesn't mean that just because I believe in reincarnation, you should just kill people. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, of course.
Yeah, but I think in most instances, if people just aren't taking precautions and are just being idiots, then you shouldn't just abort something. But if you've taken every precaution and you happened anyway, I feel like you should be allowed to.
I agree with
sometimes that. accidents just happen, you know. But you know, people that are just, I don't know, you know, like Pennsatucky and Orange is the New Black every 5 minutes having an abortion, like not okay in my opinion, because they come on, just do the right thing.
Exactly. Well, just before we finish up, I wanted to ask you you froze again. Okay, there you go. Yep. What were your thoughts on Australia's reaction to you for the Mardi Gras and how some dickhead decided that you weren't good enough? Like, do you think that lesbians get the raw end of the stick these days? Because now men, being women, are more treasured than women who are lesbians.
100%. I do think that's true.
You're frozen. Hang on.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna wait for you to show your eyes. It's frozen when your eyes are crossed.
My eyes are crossed?
Yeah, you look like this in the froze. Oh no, you're fine now. Go ahead.
I'm good?
Yeah, go ahead. Speak.
I think that lesbians do get the shit end of the stick, like all the time. And I think it's because we're the only sexual orientation that doesn't include males at all. At least in my opinion, like people that present as men and stuff like that, and are male, that have not done any transition whatsoever. And I think it's very difficult for people to take us seriously. Like even Milo, who's a gay guy, he's like, oh, there's no such thing as lesbians. And it's like, yes, we're a very small subset of the population. You know what I mean? Like there are way more gay men than there are lesbians, probably.
This is true.
But there are way more, I think there are way more bisexual women than bisexual men. I also do think there are a lot more bisexual men in general. They're just afraid to come out. But I think women's sexual orientations tend to be a little bit more lenient. That doesn't mean it's a choice. It just means that I think there's more of a spectrum there. So I think I think we don't get taken as seriously. And I think we're, when any woman is assertive and is very specific with her boundaries, people don't like it. Not even in our own community. And I'm one of those people, and I will continue to be that way. I've been like that my whole life. And the person that made that, the change.org was was it a female to male? I think it was a female to male drag queen. I know.
But you were able to still come. Like it wasn't like you were kicked out. Yeah, so they just had to.
Yeah, but they threatened, like the people that did the change.org thing. They were like, we're gonna tell the border or whatever it's called. We're gonna tell the people at the border that you're hateful and you have hate speech and all these things, that you can't even come in the country. And I'm like, okay, try me, like whatever. Like nothing happened. People didn't even. They were gonna show up. Nobody showed up. Empty threats. Most of the time, that's what it is. But I think the people that run these events know that if like people like me aren't going to cause physical trouble, like we're not going to show up at the event, these people will. So they just,
someone tries to hurt you let me know, young lady, and I'll
appreciate it. Yeah, but those are the types of people that will show up at these events and literally like throw paint. They'll throw like they spray painted the Vancouver rape center and stuff like that. Like they're out of their minds. So these organizations are caving because they don't want to deal with it. I think that's a big part of it. But yeah, I didn't know that Australia, Sydney specifically, was like as social justice-y as it is. Like I had no idea.
Sydney is social justice-y, but where I'm from, I am currently in New South Wales. I am in the Sydney vicinity, but I'm actually from Victoria in Melbourne, and it's sort of known as the Socialist Republic of Victoria. It's the worst state. The state I'm from is the most leftist state, and so it would have been far worse for you if you'd ended up there. You would have had Antifa on you, and
oh my God.
it could have been worse. Yeah. So I'm glad you were able to come and do whatever it was you were supposed to do. I'm glad you got to meet Dana or Dana. She says,
yeah. I say Dana because that's how my accent is. Yeah.
Yeah, well, she prefers Dana, but I'm used to saying Dana. But
Dana.
yeah,
she's a sweetheart.
But I'm glad you got to meet her. Yeah, she's a very, very, very kind-hearted person, and I think people need to give her a break.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much I think everything I wanted to ask you. I really do appreciate your candor and giving me your time. I know that you don't know who I am, but I know that we both love Kitty, so it worked out well.
Yeah, she's awesome. Well, he's awesome. She's awesome. I never know what to call it. I usually say she, because referring to the drag queen. Yeah.
It's Billy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on. It's very kind of you. I know I'm not anyone to you, but it did mean a lot to me. Thank you.
No, thank you for having me.
Okay. Well, I'll let you go so you can get to sleep.
Okay. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.